What if everything you've been taught about love is a lie? Why do we fall so hard for someone who doesn't see us? Why does heartbreak feel like death, but falling in love feels like being drugged? Why do we chase women who don't respect us and ignore those who might truly care? Why do men, over and over again, sacrifice their purpose, their identity, and even their sanity, all in the name of romance? Have you ever looked back at a relationship and thought, what the hell was I thinking? You're not alone, and you're not crazy. You're living inside a narrative you didn't write. Arthur Schopenhauer tried to warn you. He wrote what others didn't dare to say. He exposed the machine behind desire, the trap behind tenderness, and the biological strategy behind the female ideal. But the world ignored him. Society labeled him a pessimist. The truth made people uncomfortable. Now you're left wondering, why do I keep getting hurt? Why do I keep giving more than I receive? Why do I always feel like I'm the one losing? This isn't just a video. It's a confrontation with the illusions you've been sold. It's a chance to reclaim your clarity, your strength, and your mind. And here's the part no one tells you. The game was never fair. It was never meant to be. From ancient myths of sirens luring sailors to ruin, to Hollywood romances selling happily ever afters, men have always been fed stories that serve everyone, except them. Schopenhauer wasn't bitter. He was awake. And his wake-up call, it still echoes today, louder than ever. CTA 1. Tell me in the comments, what's the biggest lie you believed about love? Let's break the silence. What did Schopenhauer really say about women? This isn't just outdated philosophy. It's an uncomfortable mirror. Schopenhauer didn't just generalize, he provoked. He described women as emotionally driven, strategically manipulative, and biologically inclined to prioritize survival over truth. It's harsh, it's controversial, but it forces a critical question. How much of what we romanticize is rooted in reality, and how much is projection? By removing the pedestal, he demanded we look at relationships without the haze of fantasy. For some, that's liberation. For others, heresy. The historical roots of romantic idealization, from courtly love to Victorian virtue, society has painted femininity as a moral and emotional guide. But Schopenhauer dismantled this, showing how much of what we believe about women is not truth, but tradition. Why do we still cling to these outdated scripts? Love. According to Schopenhauer, biology, illusion, and suffering. What if love was never about soulmates, but about survival? Schopenhauer argued that love is a biological illusion, a mechanism to push us into reproduction. That feeling you call destiny, just evolutionary pressure in disguise. And once the biological task is done, the illusion fades. You're left with the chaos, emotional fallout, financial burden, shattered identity. So ask yourself, do you love her, or are you addicted to the fantasy of her? Do you crave connection, or are you just avoiding your own emptiness? The neurochemistry of attachment, modern science confirms it. Love triggers dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. It's not magic. It's chemistry. What you think is emotional destiny may just be neurological dependency. And Schopenhauer was already onto it, 200 years ago. The critique of the feminine ideal fairy tales told you she'd complete you. Society told you she'd save you. Schopenhauer told you to wake up. He dismantled the idealized woman, the goddess, the muse, the savior, and showed what lies underneath. A human being with her own motives, often at odds with yours. When men wake up from this illusion, they stop chasing fantasy and start demanding reality. And in doing so, they protect their peace. Your peace is more valuable than her validation. Projection versus perception. We don't fall in love with people. We fall in love with what we project onto them. And when that illusion collapses, so does your emotional world. Schopenhauer urges you, stop projecting, start perceiving. Romantic society and the male tragedy. The tragedy isn't just personal, it's systemic. From childhood, boys are taught to earn love, protect her, provide for her, prove yourself to her. But what happens when you give everything and still lose? When your love is your weakness, not your power. Schopenhauer's warning isn't to fear women, it's to fear illusions. Because illusions cost you more than rejection. They cost you your identity. You weren't born to be someone's savior. You were born to build your own legacy. 1. The masculine identity. Crisis. Modern men are told to be soft and strong, emotional and stoic, providers and vulnerable. These contradictions fracture identity. Schopenhauer invites you to simplify, be honest, be sovereign, be awake. What should you do with this knowledge? Knowing the truth doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. You don't need to become cynical. You need to become conscious. Schopenhauer invites you to love, not blindly, but boldly, with awareness. Real strength isn't found in giving everything. It's found in giving only what aligns with your truth. Real men love, but they love with their eyes open. Love as conscious discipline. True love isn't a leap of faith. It's a practice in discipline. You choose who you give energy to and how much of yourself you allow to be touched. Every time you compromise your identity for connection, you betray yourself. The emotional cost of romantic illusion. They told you love would heal. But what if love is what wounded you? When you give love from a place of need, you become a slave to the outcome. Schopenhauer called this bondage emotional, spiritual, existential. If you don't know who you are before love, you'll lose what little you had once it's gone. Your identity is not what you offer, it's what you protect. Dependence versus devotion. Are you choosing her from power or from emptiness? There's a difference between devotion and dependence. One expands you. The other erases you. Son. The female strategy. Power in subtlety. She doesn't need to raise her voice to control you. Her silence does that. From subtle guilt to selective affection, emotional influence is a power most men never prepare for. Schopenhauer didn't hate women. He hated unawareness. And by understanding the strategies at play, you stop being manipulated and start being free. You stop reacting. You start choosing. 1. Influence without force. The most effective control isn't domination, it's influence. Schopenhauer teaches us to recognize how power is exercised not through orders, but through expectations. Masculinity in crisis. Then and now a man without direction becomes a man without defense. Schopenhauer's era had different challenges, but the core crisis remains. Men are praised for compliance and punished for clarity. Reclaiming masculinity isn't about dominance. It's about discernment, about choosing growth over fantasy. You weren't made to chase comfort. You were made to confront reality. 1. The reclamation of male sovereignty. You must reclaim what the world tried to take, your sense of self. Masculinity is not the enemy. Weakness disguised as love is. The mirage of emotional reciprocity, you give your soul, expecting the same. But love isn't always mutual, and expectations hurt more than betrayal. Schopenhauer warns us not to assume balance in a world of imbalance. Once you realize that not everyone loves the way you do, you stop giving until it hurts. Love isn't measured by how much you feel. It's measured by how well you're seen. Expectations are emotional contracts without consent. The problem isn't that they let you down. The problem is that you expected them to hold what you never confirmed they could carry. Is love still worth it? A modern dilemma. If love is a trap, should we run from it? Not necessarily. But Schopenhauer urges us to redefine what love means. Love isn't rescue, it's reflection. And the person you choose must first reflect the clarity you found in yourself. You don't find love, you become it, through truth, through solitude, through sovereignty. Ken, choose love. From fullness, not lack, you'll know it's real. Not when it excites you, but when it calms you. Love should never cost you your voice, your mission, or your peace. Redefining the role of the modern man, you were not made to chase. You were made to create. Your value doesn't come from validation. It comes from vision. Schopenhauer didn't give men a formula. He gave them a flashlight. Use it to illuminate the lies. And then build something real. If she aligns with your path, let her walk beside you, but never ahead of your mission. From pleaser to purpose-driven, don't live to be liked. Live to be remembered for your truth, your strength, your integrity. 12. The Schopenhauer Red Pill. Know before you fall. This isn't about fear. It's about freedom. Before you give your heart, understand the battlefield. Because once you do, you won't stop loving. You'll just start loving smarter. The man who sees through illusion is the man who writes his own story. Subscribe. Think. Reclaim your mind. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this.